going on, Jerome's? So the Suns are making a run right now. 3 minutes left in the second half. They just hit a three. We'll see. Because by the time you see this, we'll know if the NBA has ripped a sweep away from the Wolves because of shoddy officiating. Who knew? Or, I mean, when you have a ref in the game who's called the extender, or if the Wolves swept because they're the greatest basketball team in the history of the world. Anyways, the greatest wide receiver in the history of the world, or at least in the National Football League currently, is Justin friggin' Jefferson. Now, JJ's heading into his fifth year option, getting a little bit paid, but we want to get a lot of it paid, and also keeping JJ as the absolute talisman at receiver, and really helping out J.J. McCarthy long term. Now, yes, the JJ to JJ joke's already there. Jefferson has already told JJ McCarthy that he goes by Jettas to avoid confusion, so we're good to go. But general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, of course, working on getting a deal done with Justin Jefferson. And here's the whole thing. I'm a big vibes person, right? And we always say a rule of thumb is when contract negotiations are going poorly, you hear about it. In the media, there's leaks, and you can usually reverse engineer where the leaks come from. Oh, the player's asking for way too much money. Oh, the team is being stingy, right? But zero goose egg, D'Angelo Russell, consternation, rumors. Oh, Justin Jefferson says that he wants to be traded. Now, there ain't been any of that. No cryptic social media posts or tweets or whatever, and things are going to get done. You know, and Kwesi a couple weeks ago said that they were close last off season. I think they will get something done this year, as a lot of handful of receivers are getting paid and setting that benchmark, and good to go. Long story longer, our guy Will Ragg at Sports Illustrated put together this. Vikings GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah gives update on Justin Jefferson extension talks. Now, sort of got lost in the soup this weekend with all the draft stuff, but of course now that the draft is in the books, Kwesi can turn his attention back to Justin Jefferson. Quote, this is from Kwesi. We continue to have great dialogue with their representatives, Justin Jefferson's agents, and the process is ongoing. GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah said in his post-draft press conference, we did say, hey, this couple of days, the draft's coming. Obviously, they have players that they represent. We have our process, and either way, whenever we sign him, we want Justin to have his whole week. You know that friend that has a birthday that takes the month? We're all thinking about that friend right now. I think Justin would deserve his whole month if we signed a contract to celebrate it. So we're excited to work toward it. We're going to keep going. You can't have all these plans where you talk about all these visions and not talk about the king linchpin. So we're going to keep working towards that end goal. And that's the whole thing too, where in negotiations, like usually you hear the team saying, it's like, oh, the player's nice. The player's nice, all that stuff. No, the Vikings have been very upfront with Jefferson, and I think that he certainly respects that. They've been very honest that he is the guy, he is the priority, and they want to get him signed long term. There has been no indication that the Vikings have ever considered the possibility of trading Jefferson. There's also been no indication that Jefferson doesn't want to be in Minnesota long term, which is great. It's fantastic. He texted with new quarterback J.J. McCarthy after the Vikings drafted him 10th overall on Thursday night. He's also been in consistent contact with head coach Kevin O'Connell. Now it's just a matter of finding agreement, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so basically, all of the talk is like, oh, the Vikings should trade Justin Jefferson for picks and all that stuff. It all comes from the national media jabroni haircuts who they can't stand. They can't stand that Jefferson actually likes it here in the great state of Minnesota. Same thing with Anthony Edwards, by the way. And the whole thing, too. Like, if JJ wanted to be traded, would he be staying in constant contact with head coach Kevin O'Connell, even though, but he's sitting out of voluntary off-season workouts and might miss a voluntary portion of OTAs as well? It's fine. If JJ wasn't planning to be here long term, would he be texting the new future franchise quarterback in JJ McCarthy? No, he wouldn't. So obviously he sees himself here. He sees himself with McCarthy long term, and that's where he's going to be. Now, with Jefferson, so benchmarks have been set with Amon St. Brown getting paid, the 4-year, $120 million deal. A.J. Brown, sort of under the radar, getting paid during the draft with his $96 million deal over 3 years, an average of $32 million. Also, the total guaranteed. So $84 million guaranteed on a $96 million deal. That's unheard of. That's unprecedented, man. So that is the mark right now. And besides average per season, which, I mean, look at Tyreek Hill's contract closely, and you'll see that the last year is basically just toilet paper. But total guaranteed is where it matters. And with Jefferson, in terms of the pantheon of current highest paid players, Nick Bosa is up there at 1 with $88 million guaranteed. AJ Brown should be on there as well, but with his new deal with the $84 million guaranteed. So that's basically what it comes down to. And Jefferson, he does have the bargaining position. Be like, hey, if we're going to do a long-term deal, let's do this thing. Let's have it be front-loaded. Let's have it be a heavy guarantee. And I think that he will break the bank in terms of non-quarterbacks. And I think that eventually, so here's our prediction. 4 years on top of the fifth-year option. So 4 years, $140 million in new money, $35 million average per season, the highest-paid receiver in NFL history, as well as $100 million total guaranteed, which would be the highest for a non-quarterback in NFL history as well. Plus, the Vikings, again, Kwesi, Rob Brzezinski have been very smart, very strategic, very forward-thinking about getting rid of some of these veteran contracts and clearing cap space. They can front-load this deal. And that's an ultimate competitive advantage of your quarterback on his rookie deal, or Sam Darnold on a smallish starting quarterback contract, where you can eat those cap hits early on, and when it gets time to pay a guy like J.J. McCarthy or Dallas Turner or some of the other younger veterans you have on the rooster, you've already eaten quite a bit of that cap in terms of paying Justin Jefferson. So you're going to be good to go there. And I think what's going to happen, so I think it'll be like last offseason where JJ will sit out of voluntary OTAs, but still obviously getting in that work. But mandatory minicamp. So the OTAs are weird this year. So it's voluntary, mandatory, and then another week of voluntary afterwards. I think mandatory minicamp kicks off on June 4th. I think they'll announce it then. And I think all of June and head into that, really the only summer break of the NFL calendar is usually mid-June to end of July to the start of training camp. I think that will all be Justin Jefferson time because, Spielman, used to like doing extensions right at the start of training camp, kicking things off on a high note. But I feel like, that sort of gets lost in the shuffle because it's starting a training camp, starting the new year. So at the end, or right before you go on that 6-week hiatus, just giving Jefferson all that time for the love and respect, which he's earned, by the way. And also, I feel like some of the other receivers that are looking to get paid, Jamar Chase still has 2 years left if you include his fifth-year option, plus the Bengals. Bengals are cheap as hell. Can we just say that? There's a reason why Higgins and Hendrickson won out. Also, Dallas with CeeDee Lamb, I don't think that deal is going to get done anytime soon. I think that Dallas's ass is in the jackpot in terms of the cap, but also I feel like Jerry Jones is so bad at this. Like every single time a star Cowboys player looks to get paid, like they have to drag the player through the mud, they have to badmouth them, they have to downgrade their achievements in public, and that's what's happening with CeeDee Lamb right now. It's ridiculous, man. But I think they'll play the franchise tag game with him after they make a decision with Dak. So who knows there? So I think all of the receivers that are looking to get paid and set a benchmark for Jefferson have already been paid with Amon-Ra as well as A.J. Brown. Like I don't see Chase or CeeDee Lamb getting done anytime soon. So I'm optimistic, and sounds like Kwesi is too. Obviously Justin Jefferson looks to stay here, and the whole JJ to JJ connection. He understands that this has a chance to be a very special offense, a very special team overall, and he wants to be part of it, which is something I love, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, optimistic about a Justin Jefferson extension. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts and his thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.